I noticed
Oh, good evening, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy and
we Judd.
And on the other side of the shuck, we have Ben and Donnie.
Donnie.
Ben, as you know, is the owner, designer, creator of this knife brand that is Jack Wolf Knives. Love them or hate them, they are making a splash in the community, and a great big splash, I'm happy to say, for Ben. How are you both doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah. How about you guys?
We're doing really well. Donnie, could you get closer to that boss of yours again? I can't see half your head's there.
Well, actually,
sorry.
picture's frozen.
The picture's frozen. We're having a wee bit of picture quality at the minute, the technical difficulties. We can't find out whose problem it is. So, but we'll just talk away because the audio is very good. We'll say hello to those in there. Who have we got in here now? We have. You can do the.
We've got Groundfog and James Alton and Tony's Ponies. Gizmo's in, EDC, and Spiros is in.
James Alton.
And Zathras, not Zathras. There's a man with an identity problem. Don C's in, Tobacco Rich is in, and we've got more coming in all the time. So we're up to about 14 or 15 so far.
Oh, that's good. So, boys, what's the weather like where you are?
It's our ideal time of year. We have about a 30-degree Fahrenheit temperature swing every day. So in the morning when I'm walking the dog in the dark at 5:30, it's 40 degrees, 45 degrees. Right. But then middle of the afternoon, you could be wearing shorts and flip-flops and a t-shirt. You know, it's 65 to 70. So it's really nice, honestly.
Yeah, sounds lovely. Really does. Sounds like our summer.
Yeah, probably a lot like your summer. It's just dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, we've been really just bombarded with rain recently. Everything is swamped.
You guys get a lot of rain up there, presumably.
Yeah. Well, it explains why Ireland's so green, Ben. I mean, we're the very definition of green, but it's all mainly because it's waterlogged and wet and just growing all the time. It's sort of growing under your feet at every single moment. But yeah, it's been particularly bad of late. A lot of flooding in the roads and everything, so it's just been grim. But it's coming up to Christmas, so we've got Christmas to look forward to. And Stephen's been buying stuff like mad. He's just gone. He promised me last week that he wouldn't buy anything more, of course,
I didn't buy anything for a month. Well, it was over a month, about 6 weeks.
No, it wasn't, Stephen.
It was.
If we go back and I pick out
no,
you'll find that you still managed to buy a knife every week.
No, it didn't.
Yes, you did.
But I decided I was going to treat myself, and I sold a stack of knives, and just invested in some nice traditional ones, which I really needed for my collection. You know what it's like when you need something, you have to have it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is me now until February. I'm not buying another thing.
You heard it here, folks. Let's do a countdown to see how long it takes for him to break that promise, okay?
No, that's it. Definitely, I went over the top, but it was lovely over the top.
Oh, they're beautiful knives.
But you'll see them tomorrow on the channel.
But talking of beautiful knives, Ben, you went and did it again, didn't you?
We did.
You put it up?
Yeah, go ahead and put it up there.
Go ahead, Donnie. Put one up. What do you got? We got purple. I got purple.
Oh, we'll see Danny's ones. He's got nice colored ones.
Well, we would if their picture wasn't frozen.
Oh, sorry, your picture's frozen, so I'll show you mine.
Hold on a sec.
This is the natural titanium, jigged with the blue accent on the clip and the back spacer, which is a beautiful, beautiful color of blue, right the way around. I adore this. After not liking the previous locking knife, I don't know whether I came at this with a different look this time. I think the handle shape the last time didn't hit me as much as this. This is just beautiful. In fact, somebody described this today as like an old sailor's knife. You know, the old English sailor's knife.
Like
it has
the
that,
Artemis or the anchor knife,
like that. You know, and it has that, you know, sort of the ram's foot blade that you would have got in the old sailor knives. But obviously, a much more modern and up-to-date version. But it is that shape, and it got my eye this time. And in the hand, I still think that's one of the best clips that I've seen on any knife at all. It fits just beautifully in my hand. I don't know what to say. You have a smaller hand.
Oh no, it belongs in my hands.
It belongs in
It
your hand.
belongs-
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Don't let it go. Don't let go. Stephen, I think too, when that Gunslinger came out, like you had no idea that was coming.
No.
Right? So when it came out, you're a slip joint guy, and the older we get, the less flexible we become. So I think it just caught you by surprise, and you had a hard time kind of coming to terms with it right away.
And I'm a very basic sort of a human being. And when you shock me, sometimes it takes me about a week to come around from it, because having a front flipper, which is not my favorite type of knife, I just thought, no, you can't have that in a slip joint. You can't have that. But then it's not a slip joint because it's a locking knife. And I think you're right. I just completely flopped on it. It wasn't a knife, because as I'd used a knife that time, the knife was brilliant, but I still couldn't get this thing out of my head. But that's not a slip joint.
Right.
And I think that's all it was. This time, completely fresh eyes, and this middle finger flick on this knife is unbelievable. It really is gorgeous. And I know people are going to, I don't know. I tend to say what's in my head. I'm not one of these people that sits back and thinks a lot. I just say what's in my head at the time. But I'm so happy to be able to say, do you know what I've done with this? Instead of keeping this with my Jack Wolf slip joints, I took it out and I put it in my locking knife drawer, and actually put it in with my locking knives. And that, again, just changed it again, because when I go for it, it's in the knife drawer with locking knives.
Yeah.
So
it
but-
changes your whole sort of perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a question from James. He was asking, does the backspacer change shades of blues when you move it?
It does. And also depending on the nature of the light you're in.
Yeah. Yes, it definitely does. And especially on the clip, you notice it quite a lot, because you've got that line right down the center. You'll get the dark and light as well. Sometimes I've noticed it. I love that clip. Who designed the clip? Was that
I
them?
did.
Or you?
That was me. Yeah. And I just approached that. I think a lot of designers, when they approach their pocket clip, they're trying to have a lot of artistic expression there, or do something new and unique. Yeah. Where I approach a pocket clip as like, I want this to be simple and streamlined, like basically as small and inobtrusive as possible, but having an element of design. So that's why it's tapered, and that's why it's pointed is maybe not the right word, but kind of beveled at the end. And I just wanted just something clean and streamlined, because I'm not a pocket clip guy in general. Yeah. So it's like, if we're going to have a pocket clip, it can't be this thing,
I have to say, the one thing, when I looked at it and I looked at the distance between the gap, and I thought, it's going to be really tight to get it out of the pocket or over jeans. And, to be honest, when you put it over your jeans, it sometimes, especially on my thicker jeans, it is a bit stiff. But you literally just put your finger at the front of it when you're holding it down, and it just goes straight in and straight into your pocket. I mean, it's just, I love the clip. And it's surprising how much a clip can take away from a knife.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's either not deep pocket enough, or it's too clunky, or it's uncomfortable in the palm of your hand.
Uncomfortable is the thing that comes to mind. Yeah. Nearly every clip you get is uncomfortable. And like you say, people want the flair of looking nice, but they don't put it in their hand and think, it's uncomfortable,
I noticed on the Instagram and Facebook posts, actually, Ben, that the lefties, speaking as a lefty myself, although not lefty, I'm a left-handed writer, but not a knife user, bizarrely. But a lot of the lefties were begging you for a left-handed version of the clip on the knife and everything. And the lock.
Well, it's only 5% of the world. I wouldn't worry.
Oh, I know.
No,
but it's
me and Donnie we were talking about it at lunch today, because he's always working me to do it, because we're both lefties. Yeah. But it's just from the business side of it. Like, there's so many reasons it makes no sense to do.
Absolutely.
So jury's out on that one. I'm not highly motivated. I think ultimately it's like in the future, because look, they're going to make you make a certain amount of them, and it's more than you're going to sell. So they're going to sit around. So when you can afford to sit on some lefty knives for a year while they trickle out,
Yeah. You see, Ben, this is the other thing that I think a lot of this year has come in, is people doing the clips where they're tail end mounted, and you can go left and right, and you don't have to have anything on the the show side or the back side. It just clips in the back, and they do little thin clips like this. Can't remember what knife it is I had.
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can attempt to design around it. But the other side of that argument is you're essentially accommodating an extremely small percent of the population, and you're making the knife uglier in almost every circumstance.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget that the clip is only one part of the equation, because the locking bar is on the wrong side as well.
Yeah, I mean, a true lefty, it's a mirror image.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to take a right-handed knife and make it ambidextrous, which it's really not, but if you just wanted to have an ambidextrous clip, oftentimes you're having to uglify the show side, this side of the knife. And I don't like that.
No,
I want it to look a certain way. And it's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make every righty carrying this have their aesthetic jeopardized for what's a very small percentage of people. I'd rather wait till it makes more sense and do a true lefty,
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Just every day, just a little bit of
yeah.
A little bit of poke.
They are persistent, those lefties, for sure.
The only one I've liked is the one where it is in the back. You've got 2 holes in the back where it just clips in, and you have to screw from the back inwards. And I think
then you've got the pocket clip out here, standing proud of the butt. And so then it's out and down. And then I don't know. It's just I wasn't doing it for these.
And then a lot of those end up being like a bent clip, as opposed to like a nice milled, thicker, nice clip.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like a spring, using spring. Instead of being milled, it's like spring titanium or a wire clip.
I would say this clip is just gorgeous.
What's been interesting about pocket clips is it's like one of those things you will never make everybody happy with a pocket clip. Like they're divisive, and frankly, they're always going to be a compromise, because a good knife wouldn't have one. Like, it's only there for the convenience of carrying it. It serves no other function. It changes the ergonomics of the knife no matter what.
Absolutely.
So then it's like, do I have it be as ergonomic as possible, but then maybe the clip function isn't as good as it could be? Or do I have this be the best pocket clip ever designed, but then it's a pain in the ass to hold,
Yep.
So you're always got that balance of form and function. So you have to you can't have it perfect always. So it's always going to be a compromise to a certain extent.
Right.
That's right. It's funny, being a slip joint person, it's probably harder to, when I go back to carrying a knife, when I get to jeans weather and I'll carry a locking knife, and the slip joint, I find it takes me about a week or 2 to get used to just carrying a clip, a knife with a clip on it in my pocket. Whereas I'm just so used to going in and picking because I usually have a crapper with me, so I can use it for anything, and a good one in a sheath. And I'm just in the pocket and pick it out. It makes so much. Yeah. No,
I'm the other side, because I like a pocket clip. I prefer a pocket clip to a pocket carry, so a sleeve or a slip or whatever. So, and even if I'm using a slip, I like a slip with a pocket clip on it, so that it actually sits high in your pocket, as opposed to sinking down and weighing down at the bottom of your pocket. So, I'm a weird sort of mix, but at the same time, the clip has to be unobtrusive. If you've got a big, massive piece of metal sticking into your trouser leg all the time, it does nothing for your own comfort, if nothing else. But it's a whole thing. I think you've done really well with this one. But what I'd like to know is what I want to get on to. And I mean, we've got 30 people in here now, and I know they're dying to hear. And I'm going to apologize to everybody that, unfortunately, Ben and Donnie's video isn't working, but their audio is perfect. But we're just going to persist with the audio, and it means that they won't be able to show as many of the nice knives as we would have hoped.
Come back again,
but hopefully it'll come back over the course of this. So just bear with us. But Ben, what I'd really like to know is, we're going to ask you again, how did you do this to us? How did you manage to catch us by surprise again? Now, we knew that. I mean, you did the Cyborg Jack last Christmas, so that was a big surprise, and it came out of nowhere. So, what's Where did it come from?
So when I visualized this project and we started to develop the Gunslinger, I believe in myself, so I'm gonna bet on myself, you know. Now I designed the Gunslinger first, and my first thought immediately was we need to design more of these. Like I don't want to wait until I learn from whether the Gunslinger was a success or a failure to start more design, because it could take 6 months or more to flush out subsequent locking designs. So I just bet on myself and developed this one with it, you know, and thinking like it's going to work. And I want to have another one of these that no one's expecting. And so we designed the after hours pretty much alongside the Gunslinger.
Yeah.
But then I tell all you guys, well, we don't know how this is going to go. We're just going to wait and see how the Gunslinger is. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. Right. So no one expected this in December when the other one came out in June. So that's the kind of thing we do to keep you guys on your toes. Yeah, we have to lie to you, which is like really uncomfortable for me, honestly. Like I got to make up stories.
I'm sorry. You both do it too well. I don't believe the sorry there whatsoever.
And one more to the point, Ben.
Oh, here they're back.
Yes, they are. And by the way, guys, apparently it's the video on our end. TK is saying that all the people in the guys in the chat are saying that they can see your video perfectly. So go ahead and hold stuff up and do what you need to. But all I can say, Ben, is that you are definitely not paying Donnie enough, or either that or you're paying him too much, because he did not spill the beans in any way, shape, or form. I mean,
no, it's in the contract. It's in the contract.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's, you know, anytime we're trying to keep a secret and you guys ask us questions, if we don't give you answers, you're going to figure out what we're talking. You know, you're going to figure it out. So we have to lead you guys astray so that we don't spoil the end of the movie for you. You know?
The trick is when anyone, you know, makes a suggestion, hey, you guys should do a locking midnight jack, and I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
I'll tell Ben. We'll try to make something happen.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to? My thing is, you see,
I feel so violated. I'm sorry, but our trust. I mean, how could they?
I'm really looking forward to see what you're going to do in the next version of the Little Bro, because I think it's a wonderful pattern for an everyday carry. I just think it's the perfect size. It's a little bit bigger than the 15. It's just perfect in hand. And everybody I've spoke to that's got one is just delighted with it. It'll be interesting to see what blade shapes you're going to put on it.
Yeah, no, it'll be, I mean, we just came out with that one, so it'll be a while before it comes back around.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
But I'd be curious to know what you guys want to see on that bad boy. You guys want a sheep's foot blade on that one? You want to try, I could try stuff a spear point in there.
I think a spear point would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we need another spear. We've had a lot of clips, and here. Well, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong, Ben. I like your clips, but I find your clips have a wee bit too much belly for my particular liking.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't like the Skinner thing.
No,
I like it.
You need to go back to Saks.
No. I have an opinion.
No.
You don't always beat my opinion out of me.
Yes.
So I'd like to see a slightly more, I don't know, pointy clip, if that's the word for it, if that makes any sense.
Well, do you have anything as an example you could show me?
Have you got your Ashley's there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think the classic Sheffield clip is a gorgeous one.
I'm always drawn to the big swoop. You know, I want that arc. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. So a little less belly. Yeah.
The thing that I think would go well with this is it's deep here, which will go with the Little Bro. It's deep, and then you have that longer clip, which I have to say, probably one of my favorite clips. That's the Arthur Wright. The Arthur Wright pattern of a clip.
Yeah, but don't listen to him about the Little Bro. You've just done the Little Bro, as you've said. It's a lovely knife. I've got one. It's gorgeous. But I want to see what your new stuff is. I want to see the new shapes. You know, yeah, exactly. I want to see the variations on the zombie killer or the zombie after hours that I keep on referring to.
There's a pattern I
No.
think would go well with one of your knives.
That's a spade blade. I really like them myself. It's just, I always worry our guy's going to want to spring for one.
Oh, look at that. I don't know. Can everybody, I was just telling the guys that my favorite version of the after hours is the acid green, the blackwashed version, and I can't rationalize why. I just love the drama of it. I just think it's brilliant. So please, if you agree or disagree with me, you've never been shy about saying so in the comments. So
British bias.
Yeah, that's TK. TK's opinion doesn't count. But here's another one that you might be interested in. That's a native pattern. I just love that one.
Yeah, that looks good. I haven't done anything that has that kind of curved cutting edge. Everything I have is either a straight edge or it's a spear point or a clip point. I don't have that kind of arced cutting edge.
Yeah.
So that's something that we could play with, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to get back to designing. It's been I'm not getting enough time to do it. So, but Donnie and Kim are like hitting on all cylinders now. Like there's a lot of work every month. These knives out the door on time. That's what it's not the glamorous stuff, but it's super important.
Oh, definitely.
There's a lot of details and everything's documented correctly. And, we leave a really nice paper trail. So
I was going to say, have you spent much time designing again? And has that creativity come back easily?
No, it doesn't. When you get off that bike, it's not like riding a bike. It's tough. And there's different things. There's like, picking color combinations. Well, we have to do that every few months. So we're kind of used to that process. But getting into the CAD program and putting lines down, it's hard to do even when you're in the zone, let alone when you get out of the zone. And then so much of the daily work is not creative exactly, like process-oriented documentation, emails. That stuff sucks the creativity out of you, to be honest.
It's just repetitive work that keeps the business going.
Yeah, but it's the stuff that's necessary. That's absolutely right.
And truthfully, I'm more drawn to that kind of stuff because I'm really good at execution. Like that's one of my strong suits. And so, as a designer, I kind of was defaulting having to do it, versus really like I was talking to Israel Backus of Arcane Design. And, he would rather spend all his time designing and none of his time running my business. Yeah. If I had a team of designers, I'd be perfectly happy, and then me spending my time running the business. So,
but the thing is, that team of designers didn't set the business up and didn't design the knives that have made it popular.
I know it. Well, a team of designers executing my vision, doing the grunt work, because I have CAD skills, but it's not fully developed as it should be. I've got a lot of education I still need to go through to be better.
Yeah. But Ben, you have the thing inside your head that makes it go down on paper, and it's been successful. To try and get somebody to replace your head would be rather dangerous.
It would. I think about it like, you can't always do everything. If you want to have a growing business, you've got to learn to delegate. So how would you delegate design work? That's tough. I do it with Sean Tiffany and Gonzo on the art. I have a vision. They execute the vision. But would it translate to the knives? It's a big question mark.
Do you ever think of going away for a weekend to do a retreat and do designing for a couple of days, just drawings on paper and just sitting there? And
we'd be happy to attend, provide inspiration.
That's a really good idea, Stephen, honestly. Like, it's a really good idea. You'd have to have, you got to have the big monitor and your computer and all that. So you'd have to be able to accommodate that. But it's really important to have no interruptions when you're designing.
If you went away for a weekend and just sat down and even drew them freehand.
Yeah.
And then come back and put them on CAD when you're not under so much pressure, when you know what you want.
That's a that's a really good idea. And
The danger would be the what happened to Slippy and TK when they were doing the voting on what kind of knife would you like to see designed. And I don't know if you've ever seen that episode of The Simpsons where Homer designs a car.
No.
It would not end up well, because you'd have all kinds of abominations put together under one package, and it would be the sum of all the parts. That would be horrendous. Whereas at least if you've got a singular vision, you're going to end up with something that is going to be true to that vision, as opposed to just satisfying everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
design by committee is usually not good.
But we do have a few. We do have a few suggestions for you. So Baron, who is a friend of the channel, a long-time friend of the channel, and always creative in his suggestions, has been thinking about what you would call a Jack Wolf knife with a stay. A worried Jack. I particularly like the anxious Jack. The Jackless. Actually, the anxious Jack writes itself. I mean, you can see the cartoon now, the artwork now, sort of like a Wile E. Coyote kind of thing going on. It's, absolutely. We've also got suggestions from BG 2022 about a small cleaver, probably. And
cleaver would be hard to fit into a handle.
Yeah. But I do like Tobacco Ridge's the sackless Jack, but I'm not sure that would go down very well.
What about a small fixed blade? Has that ever been a thought in your head?
That's probably a request I get more often than like a large fixed blade.
Yeah.
So you guys tell me, do you think that is there a place in the market for that right now? Because there doesn't seem to be a lot of choices. Like there's neck knives, right? Then there's like the little SE. But I was thinking about that, Stephen, and it seems like there's not a lot of good choices in the small fixed blade segment.
To be honest with you, I would be going along the lines of a very functional knife, but like a letter opener for a desk that you could sit it on a wee stand and use it at your desk. That sort of, a small, like the little bird and trout knives, that sort of size, a bird and trout. And you can put it in a nice leather slip, or it wouldn't really matter what it was in, but just something you could set on your desk, which I love having a little bird and trout. You know what I mean, don't you, Ben?
Yeah, no, I'm it's from a design standpoint, certainly easier than designing a folder.
Yeah.
The packaging would be totally different, like presumably it's not going to fit in the tube and all that kind of stuff.
I've got some here. I'll just measure them to see what size they are.
I'd like to know from the audience, what do you guys think? Like he says a 3-inch fixed blade. He's just talking about the blade, but what about the overall length? What kind of overall length do you guys think?
6 inches is the one that I know a lot of the people. Can you do me a favor? Do you hold that up?
Limitations you guys have?
I mean, I suppose you could.
Watch. Don't tilt it. Oops. There's a big weight on the other. Oh, I got it. I just wanted to get the wee fixie out.
This could take a minute. He's got quite a few hidden in here.
Stop it.
Find it?
Oh, yes. I have.
There you go.
Got it. There we go.
There we go. Excellent.
All right. So there's a wee. This is a bad choice of a case, but this is a little Rough Rider bird and trout knife. And that sort of size, which, let me just give you a size measurement.
What's the overall length?
Right, hang on. I don't use them.
All right.
Centimeters and me haven't got on yet. Right, get down, boy. This is 6 1/4.
Okay.
And there's TK saying 6.75. So between 6 1/4 and 6 3/4, just under 7 inches.
And I just think you could really make a lovely job of the handle on that and have it as a desk knife.
Yeah.
Or
I guess if someone asks me what I think of a small fixed blade, when you start talking 6 to 7 inches, that's like a 4-inch handle and a 3-inch blade. I mean, that's like a full-size knife, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I think of a small fixed blade as being 6 or sub 6.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a working fixed blade, whereas this is like first,
Yeah.
doing
Where's-
a trout at the bank, you could use it for that, or on your desk. There's so many different uses. I think.
Where's your wee?
Sure. Now let me ask you this, Stephen. That sheath, is that designed for the belt? Because I think something that's 7 inches long starts to become a little unruly for the pocket. So
Oh,
the
it's
question is,
it's definitely a belt knife.
Where's your wee? Do we that one?
That one?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah,
are
there's
we,
something that size.
are we
would be
talking
lovely.
something like that?
that's what I had in my mind. I mean, what's the overall length of that?
I mean, they are so popular at the minute. The small, nearly 3-finger knives.
It's just under 6 inches.
No, it's
Yeah, to me, like,
five and a half.
yeah, because I think the market segment of 6 inches and above is pretty well established, but like, between 5 and 6 per se, 5.5 to 6. I don't think there's as many choices, and I think you'd want to carry that in your pocket as opposed to on your belt.
Yeah, so a little small Kydex sheath would fit in the tin with that knife.
No leather.
Probably not, Stephen. It would be hard to get it in there. I mean, maybe, but you wouldn't want to compromise the design of the knife just to fit in the tin. I'd rather design the knife, and I got to think sourcing those is. I know how to get a knife from my manufacturer, but can I get Kydex or leather sheaths with clips? I don't know. Like, in other words, it's just a project, but it's one that's reasonable to pursue versus some of the other suggestions we get from time to time.
Yeah. And I think, Mikey and I were almost at blows when we were at the Sharp Show over a tiny little, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a similar kind of size to that, a little bit deeper in the blade, so more of a slicer, but it was an LMAX blade and a beautiful handle, about the same size. And I mean, they're the kind of knives that you fall in love with.
Yeah,
just as because they're not so large that you'll never think about carrying it, and if you're working around the house and everything, they would be absolutely fantastic. It would be.
I mean, I use that constantly. This sits on my desk and has done for years. It's just, this is a little bark grip. No, this is not a bark grip.
Is that an Arthur Wright?
This is an LT Wright.
LT Wright. Yeah, LT Wright.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I wonder, Ben, I know I'm being presumptuous here, and maybe that's completely off the rail. Would it be possible to get something going with, Bark River or LT Wright, that they would be able to make them for you?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's certainly finding someone in America to make a fixed blade is going to be a hell of a lot easier.
So much, yeah.
Finding someone to make a folder.
I mean, LT Wright and Bark River make them by the thousands, so it's not their, it wouldn't be anything to drop it into their system.
I guess the only question is, like, can they even meet their own demand at this time? Because I know Bark River has always got a huge back order going with everybody. And so I don't know if they would do an OEM project or not. I mean, you have to ask.
Yeah, well, that's part of the project, is asking the right questions.
Yeah, I mean, LT Wright, when he's always at the blade shows, I mean, he's always saying that, they can pump them out, they can do it. They've got it down to such a fine art now, and they make a hell of a lot.
It's 8:05, Ben. Get to work. Go on. We want this by next month. Okay.
I met someone at the Blade Show who is affiliated with LT Wright. I can't remember exactly the nature of that affiliation, but I see him at all the shows. Maybe I'll pick his brain.
Yeah,
excellent.
Because that's another bow to your string, and I think what you're doing with a lock and ice, you are actually putting yourself out there and trying something different. And not be the one horse, the
one trick pony.
One trick pony. That's the chap.
He's getting all the right animals, but all the wrong analogies. I think it's probably the way to go.
But I mean, being a designer, when you think of it, how many times do people say, "Well, this would be a great idea"? I mean, how many times in a day would you get that question?
But apart from anything else, it's the price you pay, Ben, for being friends with us. Really, is it? It's getting us to throw in our amateur suggestions at you.
I don't pretend that that my ideas are any better than anybody else's. So I'm open here to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, you keep pretending. It makes us feel so much better.
What about the audience there? What do you think of a small fixed blade? Is that something that would appeal to you?
Absolutely,
especially those who buy the Jack Wolf knives. Would it be, is it something you'd be interested in?
I mean, we had comments from BG and Knife Laws in Germany make it much easier to carry small fixed blades.
Yeah.
Thrifty would be all over. Well, you know, Thrifty loves.
Yeah, I mean, an awful lot of the ones that would be in mine love small fixed blades, especially like the LT right there, that we 5.5 inches.
Yeah. Oh, Father EDC was saying that if you're doing a sheath with it, make sure it can be scout carried. I'd like a scout carry myself.
Well, there's you see, you can have like I always think a wee knife that size. If you're going to carry it on your belt, you want it scout.
Yeah,
because it looks a bit silly when it's.
I just love the idea of being able to slip a wee fixed blade into your pocket.
Well,
I just think that's awesome.
That's why you could combine the two by going a little Kydex sheath that you can put in your pocket. Weighs nothing, goes into your pocket, but you can get the wee 2 loops on it. You know, the wee 2 loops that go on your belt.
Onto your belt, absolutely.
And then it just precludes clipping it to your pocket.
Yeah. So again, we're down that compromise route again. So it's one of those. Okay, guys. I'm just looking for confirmation in the chat. Can you guys see Ben and Donnie okay in terms of movement and everything? Because what I'm going to do is invite them to go through the range of the after hours jack. So hopefully they've got all of them in front of them. Now, Ben, don't let us down, because Donnie had every single one ready to go last time he was on.
Right here.
So what I want you to do, Ben, I'm going to make you a big screen. We won't be able to see it, but hopefully everybody else will be able to see it. So if you can sort of showcase all of the different flavors of the after hours jack for us, I'd love to see it.
I'll do one, and then Donnie will do one, and we'll go back and forth. So I'll start with, this is called Fat Carbon Frost.
That's lovely, that too.
Yeah,
we have like I call it light blue, but it's like an ice blue anodized titanium backspacer and pocket clip. And this is the first time we're using frost, and I will promise you it is not the last, because it looks amazing. And I'm really starting to like the carbon fibers that include white as a contrasting color, because for whatever reason, it just makes the other colors pop.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's frost.
It's funny. The only reason I didn't pick that is because last month I told Donnie I hadn't had the all titanium, and I said I had to try that for my subs so they could see it.
But the patterning on that is just
it's
unbelievable.
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It really is.
And here we got purple haze.
Well, that's a perennial favorite, Donnie, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
It is. Probably used it more than any other color.
what's cool though with the purple haze after hours, it'll match the midnight that was done in the same.
Oh yeah.
That was the first carbon fiber.
Fantastic. It's actually coming over there.
It's a beautiful color.
And the anodized clip works so well on that one. Just to highlight the purple. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, the color is probably, I don't know if I could say this, but my favorite of the anodizing colors is probably that purple. It's just so vibrant.
Yeah.
Super cool. And then we'll do a full tie version. So let's look at the lock side first. This is the one Steven has. This is dark blasted jig titanium with a dark blue anodized backspacer and pocket clip.
Here's the difference between dark blue and light blue.
Yeah, good call, Donnie.
Kind of see it's not. It's there.
It's very subtle, actually. But it's noticeable. That's really good.
Oh, it is noticeable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, there's a color called blurple, which is blue and purple. And so this is like at the edge of blurple, where this is ice blue. So they are notably different. Honestly, both the blues look good with this jig titanium, but because the light blue looked better with the frost, we went with the dark blue on this.
Yeah.
So my camera's kind of grainy, so you can't really appreciate the jigging pattern here, but just to note that it is a full frame lock, but as a left-handed person, it's easy to keep your finger off the lock bar, which is kind of nice.
Well, that's it. That's what Stephen noticed about the Spidey flick on it, the finger flick on it, was that it's so
I can even do it left-handed, and I'm not normally that good with my left hand.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, the jig. I've been, me before. I'm not a big fan of all titanium frames, and I've had a few and moved them on and whatever else. but the jigging on this is fantastic. It's so tactile, and it's such a real texture to it. It's absolutely fantastic. It really is. And it's such a lovely action.
Favorite here.
Yeah. So what we got next? Oh yes, there's my one. just now, seeing as it's seen so much action, I mean that's obviously a second by this stage, so you just need to put that in a box and send it over to me.
Touched it too much, right? Yeah, we might as well throw it away. So I'll send it to you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean nobody else is going to take it, Donnie, are they?
Oh,
look at that.
And then last but not least is the stealth bomber.
Oh, is this
This is black DLC. Call it black. Black hardware, black blade, black frame. And it just looks mean. Sinister.
it really is.
Everything is black out.
Yep. It's black on the inside, the lock bar, insert screw, that's everything.
The lock bar.
The lock bar inserts got DLC. So I don't know. I mean, I tried to guess which one will be the sell out the slowest. I'm guessing this one because I think it's a little polarizing. But when I saw the prototype, I just fell in love with it. So
yeah, it'll appeal to the tactical crowd.
Yeah.
But I mean, which is it could go either way, Ben. It could go either slow it down or speed it up because again, if it has that tactical appeal, what you're doing is you're going to be making inroads on a part of the market that you've never really been interested in going towards.
You take that in a fighting grip, it's like a sax.
Yeah.
It really is like a sax, a fighting sax. Do you know what I mean? It really is. I mean, that's a wicked.
Don't look scared over there.
Yeah, he's watching very carefully.
That is a wicked point on that.
Yeah, the blades are beautifully ground. They're thin behind the edge, but not too thin for a knife that's going to be doing perhaps a little rougher work because it has a lock.
Yeah.
And, there's something you commented on in your video for the Gunslinger, Stephen, is so there's chamfers all over the place, like where the titanium frame meets the lock or the backspacer. There's a chamfer on the backspacer and a chamfer on the frame. There's chamfers at the butt end, and there's chamfers around the pocket clip.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that was because I wanted to have it distinguished from the slip joints. We could have had it be one continuous smooth surface, just like on the slip joints. But I wanted to have a distinguishing visual element from the slip joints, something a little more modern looking, perhaps. So there's just these tasteful, very fine chamfers where all the parts meet. And then it's even on the spine of the blade. Like if you look at where the jimping ends, there's actually a small chamfer that goes all the way to the swedge on each side. Yeah. And they are small, but they're there.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. And the hand satin, we didn't mention that this is hand satin rubbed or hand rubbed satin, this one. Oh.
Yeah.
And it, like I was saying to you earlier on, before we were fair, they actually seem to be getting better at doing the hand rub satin. This one is perfect. It really is so, they really have taken it down to a fine grit. It is beautiful looking.
It is premium. There is no doubt about it. It is a premium blade finish. And
I mean, just to do that, you don't get that done for cheap. There's very few knives that, unless they're custom, come out with a hand satin finish to that standard.
Yeah, it's custom knife level finishing, 100%. So someone's asking about the coating. So, there's PVD and DLC. And I'm not an expert on this. I'll be the first to admit it. But this DLC coating is a higher quality coating than a PVD coating, and it is holding up great. Like we have not had one single user feedback from anybody about issues with their coating. Thank the Lord. Because, you worry about that stuff. Like people get, it's super lame when your coating starts chipping off. So it seems to be holding up amazingly.
Yeah, because I mean, there has to be a difference between your knife and a Kershaw all back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, you've got a lot of people here sort of appreciating the attention to detail. We've got a query from BG 2022 in terms of the gimping on the Gunslinger. It was wondering if you'd ever think about going for something slightly less aggressive. I mean, you've got a legacy really or a tradition of responding very well to comments like this in terms of people finding things maybe a wee bit too sharp on the corners or a wee bit too aggressive, and then all of a sudden you're introducing sort of design changes like this to address these details.
It's funny.
Yeah, no, this is the type of user feedback that we need, because, and you got to take it with the fact that everybody's different. Everybody's got different hands. Everybody's got different dexterity, so I need to get a lot of feedback before I'm willing to change something. Mm-hmm. But if there's a chorus of people saying like, dude, this is too sharp, like, I'm not going to be stubborn about it. It's an easy change. I like it because I never slip off it when I'm using the thumb flipper. And then if you're cutting with it, you notice the jimping is actually flush with the surface of the handle. So it kind of reduces the bite a little bit in this position. So what I'm curious is, BG 2022, is it hard on your finger from the thumb flip? And are you like continually thumb flipping as in fidgeting with it? Or is it just, hey, I use it on occasion and it's too sharp for me? Because if I wanted to make super fidgety jimping, I could probably lighten it up, but then I might not get the feel I'm looking for in the open position. And you might slip. Did you get it, Stephen? Did I just witness?
I did it. I've just done the flip.
Somebody timestamp that in the live. We need that timestamp.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate the feedback. It's like a pocket clip. You'll never please everyone with your jimping.
It's funny. One of the things I like is that jimping, and exactly for the same reason you said. If you don't want it, just move back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is always good. And there's BG saying it's really just when fidgeting,
right?
Closer grooves would be a little less aggressive, but at the same time, it all depends on what you're going to lose for the practicality. He's doing it. He's got it now.
He's never going to put it down. There's another interest. Let's talk about this some. So you mentioned something earlier. It's been on my mind a lot, and it's the balance between form and function, right? So like if form always follows function, for example, like every knife would look exactly the same, I think, because you designed everything for exactly how it feels and you'd be giving no credence to what it looks like, versus if you design something that's all form with no thought in function, it will suck as a knife,
A display piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's this balance. And some of the feedback, constructive criticism I get, for example, like on my flipper tab, people will say, well, I wish it was jimped all the way around the top so that it was easier for me to do like this way of opening it and that way of opening it. It's like, you want me to make sacrifices in the form I was going for to increase the function you want out of it.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't design the knife to be opened that way. The design of this flipper tab is you get your thumb here and you flip it open. I didn't design it for you to use your finger and do a side roll and to do this and do that, because I wanted a specific look that correlates to a certain level of function, And it's hard to communicate that effectively. People are like, well, why wouldn't you just do that? It's like, because I care about the form. That's why.
Yeah. This little tiny knob at the top here, it's disappeared from my view now because I don't use it.
Right.
And it's really because of the revelation of the back finger flip on it, the fuller opening with that. It's unbelievably easy to do. I mean, you just need to think it open, So with the sort of Spidey flick on the back, it's an unbelievably easy thing.
Do you know how I think it goes back to the Jack Wolf? Everybody knows Jack Wolf's by the opening and closing, by the sound that it makes. It's audibly beautiful. When you open this That sound is just fantastic.
It is poetry.
Yeah, the Gunslinger resonates. It tings.
Mhm.
The After Hours is a bit more of a thwack,
Yeah.
but they have their own musical notes, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, that's all part of why we like knives. Like
Yeah.
knives are complicated because we don't know. We need them to look good. We need them to function good. We need them to sound good. We need them to feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck else is like that?
Yeah, exactly.
We are a crazy bunch, aren't we?
Yes, Donnie, we are. We need help. I think is probably a charitable response to it. But here's what we've got for you.
That's right.
Seeing as Stephen's throwing you ideas, there's inspiration for your next series of Hanks. Is a series of sort of little cartoon strips, but with those sound effects as the Gunslinger with a ting, and
Right.
the After Hours with the thwack, and big letters, cartoon letters.
You like the Batman,
Yes,
sort of Batman
exactly.
Robin, yeah.
I like it.
Jack
That's where you
Wolfman,
want
yeah.
Now, speaking of, we have one of our Gunslinger Hanks.
Oh yes, do you have one handy?
Can you just? I think you're lagging because Donnie's got it up in front of the screen.
Got it now, yeah.
Got it now, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's a fantastic one, I thought.
Is Framework Knives going to get any of them when you do another run?
Well, we're just selling them direct from the website, and customers can buy them worldwide. And there's just you can't mark. They're expensive to make, so it's just hard to sell them to the dealers to make it worth us or the dealers. So some of that ancillary stuff, you just buy it direct from me. You pay about the same either way, I think.
Right.
We've already shipped a handful internationally already.
Yeah, we shipped some to Germany. We shipped some to Hungary. We shipped some to Great Britain. We shipped them all over. Yeah.
Is there any chance that I could send my bank card over to you to keep me in check so that when they drop the next time I'll have money left, because I have gone bonkers for my Christmas present this year.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid there's no control on him. He'd always find a way around it, Ben. He really would. Yeah, well, you've got a satisfied customer. Well, I'm hoping he's satisfied. Eugene Krabs just got the OG Midnight Jack and that fat purple today. So hopefully he's. I'm not sure if he's ordered it or he's actually received it, but I'm sure he'll be more than happy with it.
Yeah, we so we did a kind of a unique deal for us. I was approached by a large retailer here in the U.S. called Sportsman's Warehouse. I don't know. Do you guys have like big box sporting goods stores in the UK?
Yeah.
So that's what they are, and they approached me and they bought a run of Midnight Jacks. So they got purple ones and gold ones. Now they don't ship internationally. So either Eugene maybe in the US and bought from Sportsman's Warehouse, I'm guessing, or he got one in M390 on the secondhand market would be the other way.
Yeah.
But there are still some of those in stock, and I saw they put them up for sale. So if anybody's US based and looking for a good deal on a Midnight Jack, Sportsman's Warehouse still has some left.
Yeah. I've actually seen some of them because they're sort of special editions, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it could just very well be a one and done. It's very hard to work with them compared to the dealers we're all used to. The dealers we're all used to, even the bigger ones, they're family-owned businesses, and it's not like dealing with some large corporation where no one wants to take any responsibility for anything, So I've really gained a reappreciation for the mom and pop businesses we work with, folks like Frame Our Knives, right?
Yeah.
When you deal with these big corporate businesses, man, it's a challenge, So they may or may not reorder. I don't know. I may or may not want to do business with them again based on some of the feedback I've gotten on how they're shipping knives, and they're leaving knives in display cases, and that's fine. People handle them, and then they sell it to someone as new. It's like, well, it's not new if it's got snail trails all over it.
Yeah.
It's not new,
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't do you any favors at all, I suppose. But no, I know Eugene. Actually, I misread it. I thought he was talking about the After Hours, but he was saying he got it last year from the original run.
Right on. Someone asked about the Hanks. If you guys go to jackwolfknives.com, we have a Hanks section or a merch section in the drop-down menu. or just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and there's a Hank section. And I think we got 9 left as of this morning. We had 52 to start. So, and then because this was successful, I was just talking about it over lunch. We're going to prioritize some of the artwork and order more of these things and bring them to you guys because they're pretty cool.
Brilliant.
Really nice, like pretty much handmade quality almost.
They basically are handmade. This guy Chris Rossiter in Ohio, Renegade EDC, he's cutting, like he orders the fabric in a roll, but he cuts the fabric, sews everything, washes them, dries them, irons them, and then.
Fantastic.
Just lost the.
Yeah, we just lost your audio, guys.
It's pretty awesome. And did we lose you guys?
Yeah, no, you're back now. You're back now. You're fine. So actually, if Chris wants to come across and do some of my ironing, I'm sure it'll give my wife a break. Not that she does my ironing anymore, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Iron stuff. I don't iron anything.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right, it'll be wrinkled in 5 minutes anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah, very true.
I throw mine on the floor and they end up in the wardrobe. It's amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. So anyway, we're coming up to the end of our hour, Ben, and as always, it's gone without even noticing. So do you want to take the opportunity just to let everybody know when these things are dropping definitively?
Yep. Sure. So tomorrow in the U.S., we're dropping at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Internationally, Framar Knives isn't carrying them. I know it's tearing Frank apart, in fact, because they're trying to figure out how to get comfortable with carrying them.
Yeah.
No promises there, but man, if you guys ever get to know Frank, like he sets his mind to something, he's gonna ring it out. So stay tuned on that one. Internationally, we've got them in Germany. We've got them at Knives and Tools in the Netherlands. So if you're in the UK, you certainly could order one. You just can't order it from Framar.
I put a video up today, Ben, and if anybody wants to see what the jigged titanium looks like, the video's on this one today. But in the description, I have all the European sellers in there for them. And if they want my American viewers, we can just go to Jack Wolf Knives and get, because there's a whole raft of American dealers. Yeah. In fact, I was just noticing it just seems to be increasing. With Brazil, we have Mexico, we have all over the place.
Yeah, we recently added Brazil. That's really cool.
Yeah.
They had a big knife show down there, and he put up a bunch of Jack Wolf posters and sold a bunch of little bros and went over really well. They have a big knife culture in Brazil. Like, it's no joke. They're into it. So, yeah, no, if you guys, if you ever need anything from us, me and Donnie will help you out.
And it's still an open house to join the Jack Wolf Knives Facebook.
Absolutely. So Jack Wolf Knives Worldwide, that's our Facebook group. If you use Facebook, it's worth joining. It's a lot of fun. And for example, when we made the Hanks available, we make them available to the group first. That's where our most feverish, I want to say all our feverish collectors are there, but we have feverish collectors there. So if you're into it, I think you'll find it a nice place to be. And we pride ourselves on having it not be like other places in Facebook, which can be pretty damn toxic.
And you can also buy secondhand knives there. People are reselling their knives on the group.
Yep. A lot of trusted sellers there. If you're, if you want to pick up some, right now buying on the secondary market's fraught with pitfalls because there's a lot of scammers and stuff. But there's a lot of familiar faces in that group, so we can help you out trying to make sure you're vetting who you're buying from.
Yeah.
Cheerio, Gadget Gus.
No, it's just I'm just putting up some comments there from the guys wishing you all the best, fellas, because it's another one that will hopefully be as successful as everything else that you put out. So I suppose the last question that we need to ask is what's coming next? Sorry, I should have let you do that one. What's next?
I'm not going to give any hints. If I give hints, someone will figure it out. There's some great detectives out there.
Jack Wolf Scimitar.
Figure it out. It must be the sleek dog leg.
Is that the clue?
Yeah. Figure it out is the clue.
Oh, is that the clue?
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting very good.
It's anaglyptic.
Really?
Anaglyptic, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I have no idea what he's talking about, guys. So sorry. So, but I mean, you can't do it every month. You have to. I mean, I mean, I've lost all my words. Lost all my words.
Look,
Well,
it's really nice.
I can tell you we've got to do some repeats here in the near future, obviously, because there's been a lot of time that's passed since some of the original releases, and I want to get it back out. So,
yeah, I'm really looking for the K9 again. That's still one of my favorite knives to use.
Yeah,
One of my favorites as well.
And I mean, what somebody was actually asking for earlier on in the comments and I mean, I think we know the answer to this, but I mean, it's if there's any chance of you holding sort of stock permanently, or is it always going to be drops?
at this time, you know, it's a totally different approach to your production and distribution. So, you know, trying to have continuous stock of all models with as many models as I have is very challenging, first of all. And second of all, the way I set this program up creates certainty for my manufacturer and a rhythm. And that's the reason why I've been able to have all these deliveries, because the way I structured this. So it would have to really, I'd have to really be compelled to make any changes to what I'm doing right now, because it's working. And man, we were talking about this yesterday. It's really hard to find something that works.
Yeah, definitely.
People look at this and say, oh, look, Ben just did this thing and it works. It's like, I've had a lot of other businesses not work. So, you know, having something that works, you got to be careful not to rock the boat too hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing, I mean, a couple of things that have come up is everybody would be really keen to see if you could develop a budget line. But whether or not that's part of the business model, or whether or not it's even conceivable as part of that business model, Stephen's not interested. But
I'll tell you what, I mean, obviously I think about how to offer more products to the market at different prices, but it's a challenging thought exercise in and of itself, let alone deciding how to execute that. So
at the minute, it's such a huge market.
It is, and I think there's opportunity there, but it's about how there's so many questions there. And right now, we got to be really careful in other words, we spent a lot of time over the last 3 years bringing Jack Wolf knives from nothing but an idea to where it is today. And I don't want to turn my back on what I've made here in an effort to produce something that may not have the same level of success, and then ultimately take away from what we're doing here, distract me from what we're doing here. So the big issue really is, could we even approach a project like that and not stumble with what we already have?
Yeah, I think you've got a reputation of being a high-end knife maker, and I think it's very hard. I would think, now, again, I'm probably totally wrong. I would think it'd be very hard to incorporate a cheaper version in at this early stage of the conception.
It is still early days. Can I ask you a question though, just in terms of that high-end stuff? Seeing as we've seen some developments on that end, you've done M390 and you've done S90V.
Yeah.
What about MagnaCut?
MagnaCut, everybody wants it. Here's the challenge with it. Number one, last I heard, they will not export it to China from the mill. Okay, first of all, which is why you're not seeing a bunch of stuff. Like, think of how much MagnaCut you would have already seen from these OEMs. Now, some guys with twisting power and shipping over. The other issue is heat treat on that stuff. Guys want it really hard, and it's super rough on tools, on belts for grinding, and it wants to warp at those higher temperatures, about 2,100 degrees for durations of time. So it's like enough bad, man.
Okay, guys, you're sorry, Ben, you were breaking up. Even your audio was starting to go then. So I'm kind of hoping that the rest of the guys caught that, but I think it must be something at our end is preventing us receiving it.
I've got to change this onto my computer this week.
Yeah. So we'll switch it around. But fellas, Well, I think that will be our final question for the evening. And thank you again so much for joining us.
Absolutely. And this part of Jack Wolf is, to me, this is it. They keep it in touch. I love the fact that you can sit down, we can have a chat. You don't take anything too seriously, and you give an honest answer, even if we don't like it.
Yeah. If anything, we want to be straightforward with you guys and earn your trust and earn your business. So, you know,
I just don't know how you're going to toughen Donnie up. He's too nice.
Yeah.
He's working on it.
Yeah.
How can you hang on a second? There's a contradiction. You're telling us that you want to earn our trust, and then on the other hand, you're lying to us about what you're bringing out next month. Come on.
I guess I could just say no comment. No comment.
No, you're from
Never mind.
I'll plead the fifth.
Right, guys, can you
Thank
hang
you
on
so
a wee
much.
bit while we shut down here, and then we'll have a quick chat afterwards.
Sure.
To everybody that's been in the talk box there, thank you so much for all your comments, your chat. I'm enjoying seeing you interacting between each other. I think that's marvelous. I thank Ben and Donnie for coming along tonight and giving us their time. So we'll see you next week, boys, with another episode of We Don't Know What Yet.
Well, it's our Christmas special, isn't it?
Oh, it's our Christmas special. Oh, well, sorry, before we go, yes, this weekend on the 15th, no, when is it? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday night, I'm going to do
16th.
Saturday the 16th. I'm going to announce it's going to be the video for the Christmas giveaway. So
That'll be that.
you'll see that video on Saturday night.
Folks, adios
care.
to chat shows. All the best, guys, and see you next time.
All right, our next knife is.